Good evening, everybody. We Paddy from across the shuck. I hope you're doing all right. I've got my mate Justin here with me. At the minute, Dan's been moving house, and he's, as we told you before, he's having a couple of weeks off. But hopefully, he'll be back next Monday when we interview Ben Belkin for his new knife, which I have, and is gorgeous. He'll be coming on then. But what we done tonight, me and Justin just thought we'll do the same, much the same as last week. Just two old fellas having a chat. Well, he's not that old, but we'll just have a chat about we'll just have a chat about the knives we got. And what we decided to do was pick 5 knives. We randomly picked topics, but it's just to talk about knives in all honesty. So he's got my 5, I've got his 5, and we'll just go through one at a time, and he can talk about what he likes or what he doesn't like about it. And I'll do the same with his knives. And I'm going to let him go first. So if he's bad with mine, I can be bad in his. It's life.
And also to shout out to all the viewers is just to let you know that we do respond to the comments every now and again. So there were a number of people who said that we were somewhat lacking in our commitment to locking knives last time. So what we both decided to do was we decided to dig out some of the lockers that we've actually got and try and appease the hunger for locking knives out there. Just to ring the changes more than anything else.
Yeah, I think a lot of what people don't understand, if they're not from this country, is you can have lockers and you can have them in the house, you can go camping with them, but you can't take them outside. So they're knives that I love collecting. They're more collectors to me than my high-end slip joints, because I don't get to use them as much as slip joints, other than cutting up waste about the house. That is really all I get my lockers for, and that's why I cut my collection down. So it's an apology, yes, that we don't maybe talk about them enough, but I've spent years talking about them, but now I'm not. And it's my channel. The other thing I wanted to say, I wanted to say thank you to everybody, whether if you're from this channel or you're just in the first time, all of those that got Twisted Assisted. We're only a couple of £100 short of the 20,000, which is amazing. And I wanted to thank my subs or anybody there who has gone and ordered one. Thank you so much indeed. It really means a lot to James, and you will not be disappointed in this knife. So there we go. That's it.
We ready to go then?
All right, go ahead. Pick one. This is our big knives.
Are we going big first?
A lot. Well, you always go big. Disappoint you.
Always go big, and then we'll go for the wee ones. Okay, so I'm going first.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So this is the first one that we're going to have a look at. So, Stephen. We are moving away from Paddy. Yeah. Yes, we're going to go with our proper names and own that for a change instead of going with a pseudonym. So Stephen has chosen his Cold Steel Lawman. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at that.
For those who haven't seen it, there's the Cold Steel Lawman, and it is about 8 inches, just over 8 inches, opened.
Now this is a fantastic knife. I'm just saying that. I can't see it without my glasses on, so it's all about the feel in hand. Okay, so again. I mean, I remember talking about the Chermakov last week because it just sat in your hand beautifully, and I mean Stephen mentioned this as well. It's so slim in terms of the profile that it would sit in your pocket, disappear in a pocket for such a big knife. It would disappear in your pocket without any problem whatsoever. Apart from anything else. It is lovely blade shape and just fantastic. It's M3 S35VN, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's S35VN. So it's a good quality steel, as far as I can tell, anyway. And it's a back locker. So the strength on this thing, in terms of the locking mechanism, is nothing ordinary. Now I am going absolutely max because you know who you are, Dork Forge, but he had to go at my flipping of locking knives, and he said that I need to practice more. So I've spent the last 10 days practicing my flicking, and I'm not sure that it's actually paid off in any way, shape or form.
But we're not being in any way.
But we have a very demanding, you say it didn't even work.
That's a hard knife to flip.
We have a very demanding audience here, so this is just a cracking knife. But this was given to you, wasn't it?
Yes, one of my subs gave me that. It was not a knife that I always fancied one, but then I never fancied paying out the price because I wasn't sure whether it was going to be my bag, to be honest with you, because I'm not a tactical knife person. And I suppose with these are more towards the tactical end.
Yeah, with
But
the
to me,
colouring and everything, yeah.
But to me, just as a work knife, it is fantastic. It's not super thin behind the edge, but it's not built to be super thin behind the edge. Sometimes that really thin little blade is not what you want. This is a proper work knife. It's not over thick, but it doesn't come down to a very thin edge. Perfect in hand, sneak up choil here, which is just fantastic. And it fits anybody's hand, whether you're large or small. Justin's small and I'm large. So there's a big difference in the how many people can get this knife and use it. And after I got it, I know this will go nowhere. This is definitely going to be my bring it out for a work knife anytime.
Absolutely. I mean, there's such strength in it for such a very, very slim profile. And I mean, even comparing it to one of the Ganzos we'll be having a look at later, it's, I mean, which is quite broad across it. It's an amazing piece of kit, really.
They used to do XHP, but they had to stop it because they couldn't get enough of it to fill the demand for them knives. So they changed to S35VM. I wish they would go back to the XHP if they could, rather than sticking with the S35. Not that there's that big a difference, you know. I'm sort of getting a wee bit
up himself.
Yeah.
I don't even recognise the name of that steel. So
there isn't even a big difference, but you can get a wicked sharp edge with XHP. Go slowly, Paddy. S35N's perfect. There's no problem, and they're heat treated, and they come. Every knife I've had from Cold Steel comes razor sharp. One of the sharpest knives that you'll get anywhere at all.
Okay.
So
it's a good start.
Yeah, comparison, that Justin's knife is a knife I've never had, and I've had a lot of Spydercos over the years, and this is the Mannix 2, the lightweight, and it's BDN 1, isn't it?
Yep. I'm not even
BD1
sure
CTS BDN. It is a lovely looking knife, and I love the colour of the handle material. But those of you who remember, when I got the Para 3 in the lightweight, in the GRN, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feel of it. And sadly for me, this just feels harsh. Doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't blend into my hand. I wouldn't like to do long periods of work. Not that I do that. But I love the blade shape, that leaf shape in the blade. It's got the extra large hole. That's probably one of the biggest that I think they do, is that maybe the Charmin does it. But that is a big hole compared to the smaller ones.
Standardized.
So it's really easy to use. This lock, which is just like an axis lock, but this is a ball bearing or something in the inside of it. Yeah, it's just a ball bearing. But it flicks out absolutely beautiful. It would just take a while to get used to. The lock looks perfectly adequate. There's nothing wrong with it. But this is nearly like a see-through blue. And I love that. But to be honest with you, if I was going to buy one, and I love the blade shape, I love the handle shape. If I was going to buy one, it would have to be in G10 or my Carta. Probably my Carta would be my favourite, but G10 would definitely like it. So I really do enjoy that knife. I can see myself getting one. If I can get one in my car, that would definitely be my choice.
And I mean, I have to agree. I got it. Well, I mean, mainly because the lightweights are a little bit cheaper, so I could afford it. And I wanted to see. I'd heard an awful lot of hype about the Mannix 2 in terms of the all-time greats from Spyderco. I mean, you've got your Para 3, and then you've got your little micro Spideys, and then you've got your budget Spideys, the Tenacious. But the one that kept on jumping out is in terms of the ultimate user from a Spyderco. The Mannix 2 has always been up there. And this came up on offer, and I just got it to see what it was like as much as anything else. And it was one of those things that I discovered about myself as much as anything else. I don't like FRN handles. It's they lack the substance, they lack the weight, and the density that a proper handle.
It's just that feeling of when I pick a knife up, I'm thinking in my head, well, if I'm going to use this, how does this feel? And if it doesn't feel particularly, if I'm having to move my fingers about to get comfortable, and you can do, I'm feeling comfortable there, but I don't want to. I want to pick up a knife and use it. I don't want to think, where do I need to hold this to get a comfortable grip?
That's it exactly.
That blows it out.
But for me, it's something else as well. It's actually the it's actually the weight of the handle in hand.
Very light.
It is. It's too light. Like, it's actually unbalanced against the blade.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Now, remember, this is what I like. It's not gospel, and it's not any opinion that I'm expecting people to share.
There's where it should be balanced. So you got it front heavy, the blade. It does it, and it's, if that's something that affects you in your hand, and to me it does, because it is lighter at the back, and that's always a bit funny. It wouldn't be a killer. I wouldn't buy one because that blade shape on that is just gorgeous.
And I mean, that's got to be one of the sliciest blades you can get.
It's lovely.
I mean, it's just,
and it's not even that thin behind the edge, but it's absolutely fine. Like I said, sometimes you don't need this super slicey blade, just a blade that cuts. And with that full flat grind that Spyderco do,
it's fantastic.
And their heat treat's always good. And this steel BD1, I got it with my Para 3, the lightweight one, and I done cut tests on it. It was absolutely fantastic. Great steel, like there's nothing wrong with that steel. They can call it a budget steel, but it really is a nice, easy sharpen, took a great edge. So yeah, I think this is one I'm going to have, but now I've got it in hand, I'll not be going for the lightweight. I'll probably, because I actually fancy the darker blue one, which has got the ZDP, the CDP 189 has got on it.
Mm.
It's got another high. It's got, no. It's another high end steel, but it only comes in the the FRN.
Oh right.
But it's just a darker FRN in the handle. It's not a see-through. But yeah, it's a knife I think I will get at some stage. No, maybe next year.
And it was well worth the experiment, just to test it out and do experience.
They're not that dear to buy, are they?
Well,
compared to a PM2.
Compared to a PM2 or PM3, no. Yeah, the lightweights are always considerably cheaper, but 135, I think they're going for if you can get them on Heine.
I didn't think it was this. Yeah.
No, I didn't pay that for that one, but but it was. You will still pay over.
It's not unreasonable.
But it's Spyderco.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable.
No.
And like I hear a lot of people saying this can't take apart. Yeah, you can't take these apart. Some people say, oh well, if it's slip joints, you can't take them apart to clean it. There's a Spyderco, you can't take it apart.
Exactly so.
One of the most popular brands from the PM2, the Para 3, all of them, and you can't take them apart.
Exactly.
Who needs to take a knife apart? So I don't. There's this,
especially if it's stainless, just whack it in the washer or the dishwasher or whatever.
But I mean, just getting a hot tap and firing it in through there will clean anything out. So yeah. Sometimes it's. I shouldn't be a bit. That's controversial, isn't it? Sod it. I never take a slip joint. I would never want to take a slip joint apart. No matter whether it's easy to do it, I don't. What is the point? If I can't wash it out and put oil through it, blow a bit of air through it. I have air cans up behind me there. I've never had any problems. So don't be too fussy. Yeah, that's it. Why would you?
Go fancy.
I go fancy. Let's get fancy. Hit them with a big one, then a fancy one, then it's all downhill.
Well, you've all seen this one recently, okay? This is the Pena Apache.
This hasn't been on the channel that much, to be honest, for such a good knife.
Maybe it's just us. Maybe we've been talking about it.
Yeah, I think we said, and maybe gets a wee flash during the video, but because of getting the Jack Wolf at the minute, I'm so obsessed with them, and I'm carrying them so much, it just hasn't got a... I don't take two really good knives out, will we?
And it's a real pity, but at the same time, the number of times that Stephen has stopped me at the door and searched me and taken this out of my pocket because I've been trying to get it home with me is nothing ordinary. I love this knife. This knife is just, it's just poetry in terms of what knives should be. I mean, it's got that glorious carbon fibre. Is that on titanium?
Titanium, yeah.
And then it's just
M390.
M390. K390 actually.
Oh, K390, sorry, yes.
What's the difference?
K390's edge retention is much better.
Really?
Yeah, again.
I mean, because M390 is no slouch.
Exactly. To be honest, I thought it was M390 when I bought it.
Yeah, so it's even more.
I'm not... You see when I say that steel doesn't really matter, most of the time it doesn't. Because I just wanted a penny.
But I mean, this is a slip joint, but it feels... Yeah. It's got such a lovely tight back spring. that it feels completely locked
Yeah.
in, solid. There absolutely no problem. And see that blade
Blade shape,
profile.
that's right, I'll give you, I'll show you
It's
that.
just fabulous.
This is called the Apache, and look at that blade shape. It is
reverse
stunning.
tanto, is that? Or
Yeah, you could call it a reverse tanto or a sheep's, modified sheep's foot.
everything's a modified sheep's
modified
foot.
something, yeah. But even the sharpening choil, much the same as Jack Wolf, which I notice about. The sharpening choil is so important to a knife. Tell Spyderco that, they don't know it. But the sharpening choil on this is just fantastic. Clears everything out of the way, makes it sharpening and it's just a joy.
Absolutely.
And it's got a hollow grind. Now, not as hollow as the Jack Wolf knives.
Yeah.
And these are about the same price. But I mean, this is done by a man. Pena has been making knives for years and years, and he knows what he's doing. Not that, look, these are just stunning, but Pena is sort of the one you look up to when you're in that bracket.
Yeah. Because he's one of the rock stars, basically.
Yeah, and his custom knives are £1,000 up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
even to get the sort of
no, very much. These are about
homage, yeah.
What are they, about 280 or something? I think they were when they came out. I don't think you can get. Well, I haven't seen many for sale anywhere. It'll probably, yeah. And they're made by Riyadh, which again, I don't know who Ben's getting his made by, but
you suspect though, don't you?
It'll not be Riyadh because that's who they were supposed to be made by.
Oh,
he had gone through. He's friends with Pena, and it was Pena that introduced him to Riyadh. They done all his prototypes and then said, "Oh, it'll be over a year before you get your first one," and he'd invested all his money into getting this started.
No.
So he had to go and find
elsewhere.
another. It took him about 5 other companies that he had to buy their prototypes to see what they're like. Just he had a real rough time, and then COVID on top of all that was just a nightmare. But Pena just
there's nothing you can say about Pena.
No.
If you ever get the opportunity to get a Pena in hand, it's a thing of beauty. It really is.
Here's the thing: we're talking about the other knife, about locking knives and that, and then I've had this wee urge again to get the other because I've sold them all.
Listen to this. This is hilarious.
And now I want a Pena flipper, which is a liner. I think you can get the liner lock or the frame lock. I think there's a choice. But it looks so smooth, and I can't do flipper locks. But this looks so. Everybody who gets them says that the action's not. There's no effort. So that next year, that might be the next year's Grail knife will be a Pena flipper.
Next year's Grail knife, as opposed to a Grail knife.
Yeah, well, I've only ever have one Grail knife
at a time.
No, you can only ever have one, I think.
And yours was the
940. Yeah, and that, to me, that was my Grail knife. That bumped my. I thought I had just found Nirvana. It was just. No, Nirvana?
Nirvana. I thought you said Havana.
Nirvana. But when I got that 940, it blew. I danced in the middle of my front room because I never thought I would get one.
That's an image that will haunt me.
It's on video, you can have a look at it. But I mean, so that was my Grail knife, and I thought it would be years before I would even get a chance to get that. And from then, there's no point in me saying Grail knife because that was it.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest jump from a cheap knife to the 940 was massive. And it's still, it'll never go anywhere. No. That knife is just, it was my Grail. I went early. I went too early. Much like my love life, I go too early.
That's probably too much detail. Yeah. Moving on.
But, what am I doing? Oh, you're
fancy.
Now, we talked about this being fancy, right? This is expensive fancy. This cost about, what are these? About
130.
130. This is the Kansat. It's not the bevy. This is
the wedge.
The wedge. The same as the bevy, but it's a locking knife. It's a back lock. Look at the shape of that knife. Now, what I want to do is look at the colour and that carbon fibre on that. I'm trying to get this so. Look at that. It is dancing all over the place with the green. It is stunning for a £135 knife. Now, it's a small little knife. It only measures 5 3/4, just shy of 5 3/4. Absolutely lovely. And I can still get 4 fingers. Now, the nice bit is it's rounded. This isn't a point. It's just a little hump, if you like. So when I'm holding it, my 4th finger goes at the back of it and just secures it completely. Absolutely love it. Love a clip point, as you know. The long pull just adds an effect, and Justin has put one of these wee quick studs on it, which is fantastic. It really is. Yeah, it's really easy to open and close, I have to say. This is just value for money, par excellence.
Well, you say that. To be honest, no, to be
By the way,
honest,
sorry, S35VN
yeah,
on this.
S35 yen. So it's really good materials, and it's a beautiful. I agree with Stephen. Beautifully designed wee knife, but that's the trick. I think it's too much. It's too much money for a wee knife.
For a wee knife.
Do you know what I mean? For that kind of money, I would. It's like you know when you go for a haircut, right? The hairdresser gives you a haircut, and then they charge you like 60 quid. And for that money, you'd like to say, well, you can take a wee bit more off that. With knives, it's exactly the opposite. When you're spending that much money, you'd like a wee bit more knife. Do you know? And I get it. It's a lovely little jewel of a knife. It is lovely, and it's really good materials. But and I like it, but I'm not sure if it's worth that much money.
Do you know what I nearly feel that you come to go? You would rather have a nice slip joint.
Yeah.
For a smaller knife.
Yeah, I mean, this is a modern. The Bevy is probably the modern slip joint version of it, but it's a modern knife. It's a lovely knife, but it's not perfect. I don't think.
No, but for me, for the purpose of this is probably not something I'm going to work too hard.
Yeah.
It's something I'm just going to be pulling out, cutting something, putting it away in a fancier sort of like. You can actually use it to eat a steak, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, what's the cutting edge on it? Just over 2 1/8. That'll do me most of my day, any day. You know?
Exactly.
But I just think, if you bring this out, it's not a scary knife.
No, it's not.
It's not a scary knife.
And it's a perfect. I mean, we'll be talking about fifth pocket knives in a minute, but it's a perfect little fifth pocket knife. But also, it's a. I was at my niece's wedding over the summer there, and I was trying to decide which knife to bring with me. You know, so all those considerations came in. It needs to be non-threatening, but it needs to be a wee bit dressy, a wee bit fancy. But because we live where we live, it couldn't be. This was definitely an option because it would slip perfectly into a waistcoat pocket as well.
Does it come with a clip?
No,
no,
it doesn't. So you need a slip or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's a nice size
or
for
a
slip
pocket.
Yeah,
but because it was a locker, I decided not to, and instead went for me with the abalone.
The famous abalone Ashley Harrison. Just look at this. I just love the style of this cut.
It is fabulous, isn't it?
That is just a small detail, but you know, sometimes, and this is, I don't know whether you're guilty of it, sometimes you get a knife out and you have a look at it, where's it thin behind the edge, and you forget to look at the wee details. And when I get excited when I get a knife in, I miss so much because I'm just so excited. The thing I'm waiting for is, what am I going to get carbon fiber wise, or is it going to be my Carta? And then I'm looking.
But you're normally so reserved.
Yeah,
I do.
Bless my little cotton socks. But the fit and finish of this is absolutely fantastic. It really is.
And I know what you mean. When on the other side of that, it's that effect of the swedge and the clip going into the way.
The long pull just going into that clip coming down. It's such a small detail, but to me, I don't know whether you are all the same as maybe me, or just at night time when I get a knife out and I sit and play with it and I open and close it. I just like the sound until Sally says stop it, which is usually about 2. But when she goes to bed, I get my little knife out and go and I just click away, and she can still hear it in the bedroom. But this is a toady little knife. Like, there's it right across my palm.
Index fingers.
It's. I genuinely I'm really tempted to get the Bevy.
The Bevy's a nice knife as well. I'd be interested to see what the slip joint is like, even just to see what to pull in it and everything. And you know me, I like a backlock. But even if
actually, so do I quite like a backlock. I mean, but that is really nice knife, I have to say. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And I think people ask you, what is the difference between, like, we've got 2 fancy knives here, and I'm a bit of a show off, but I don't mind. I'm really proud to have this. I mean, I had to sell a knife that was this value to get this knife. So I'm really proud. Justin's knife, they're not in the same price comparison. But you tell me which one looks just prettier as it sits. A closed knife like that. And they're both, the carbon fibre in this is nicer than the carbon fibre on that, I would say. Do you know what I mean? So there's always something. I mean, even the pivot is nicer.
Yeah.
Very basic pivot on that. And that's a nice pivot, got a bit of a ring round it. So,
Well,
I mean,
it's a very good point, though, because, and I mean, that's why it's probably good to see a comparison of Stephen's knives and my knives, because I'm still budget boy. So it's, I have a limited budget for buying knives, so hopefully it resonates with an awful lot of people out there as well, that you get sucked in, or you get tempted down the rabbit hole of knives, and you do. We talked about this last time. The evolution of the knife collector. You do up your price every sort of
every year it'll go up.
Yeah, every year when you're trying to collect, and you do start looking for particular names or designs or makes or whatever else, and that's fine, and that's what makes the hobby so interesting and so keeps you going all the time. I'm not nowhere near here yet, but there's still so much to find.
Look, compared to when I started 5 years ago, this sort of knife at this price was not heard of.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. The quality in this was not heard of at that price. So, and people, I didn't just come to this all of a sudden. I keep saying this to people. This has taken 6 years of buying, selling, trading, getting companies give you knives and buying them, selling them, until I've got to here, because I would have less cash spare than what you have. I'm sure we have. Me and Sally are just both on a pension. But after 6 years, you couldn't keep buying just budget knives, because you'd have, like I'd have about 600 knives that were just lying about here. Most of them I would never use that often. 99% of them I wouldn't use, which is why I sold them all or gave them away, whatever I'd done over that couple of year period. So yeah, there is a progression, but to me now, the way knives are now, after £150, you're going for names then.
Yeah.
You're going for the brands that you want, the names that you want. Because the knives in themselves don't get particularly a lot better.
No.
The designs do, like Pena, like Jack Wolf, like Chris Reeves. You're paying for their design brain and their excellence at making them.
Yeah, you're paying for the art, and you're
it
paying
just
for
cuts.
yeah, exactly.
You have to be a collector to want to spend £300 on a knife.
But it's the same. Yeah, I suppose so. But it's the same thing as paying extra for a fancy car, or for a painting, or for a first edition book, or whatever else. When you're a collector, you're slightly mad anyway.
You actually are an addict.
Yeah,
and I'm an addict in other forms of life, so I can honestly say, I do have that addictive personality, and I think most people who collect anything have an addictive personality, because if knives stopped tomorrow, I would find something else to collect.
Yeah.
Because I've always had to have something. I couldn't just sit at night and watch TV all night and think, what can I get now? It would drive me insane. I would have to have something that I can focus on.
That's amazing, actually.
I have to focus on it.
This really has been my first collection ever. And I mean, I got my mid-50s before I started collecting.
It's a crisis.
They keep saying it. No, I tell you that. I tell a lie, and I admit, comics. I used to collect comics. So, but that was a lot. That was the only other thing that was in my misspent youth.
But the other thing is that I think is nice now, because there's more and more people into this hobby, whether it be here or the States. To me, I think the people are growing. There's more and more people, and hopefully people like myself who've been around a while, who've gone down that rabbit hole. When I meet somebody like you who's maybe starting and coming around, I'm going to be able to say, I really wouldn't do that.
Yes.
And that's the important thing, because the money you're going to spend on it, especially if you're not wealthy, the money you're going to spend is very important. So to get focused on an area that you want to get into, that could change eventually, but you're buying exactly what you want at the time and not what other people want to see.
Exactly.
And as a YouTuber, that's the...
But that's why the whole community thing and the whole YouTube community for this is so useful. It's so supportive, because it does stop you going down those dead ends. And it does help you focus on, or focus in on what you might be interested in, even if it is your own particular personal exploration and it does dead end out somewhere. At least you have you don't have to shotgun everything. You can
No.
focus in on a few things that'll hold your fancy.
That's exactly it. And between yourself and well, Justin's not really a knife collector at all, but we're able
Dan?
to. Yeah, Dan, sorry. We're able to sit and talk about knives. When I came out, there was I had nobody to talk to. There was nobody to. I was relying on watching programs, and then you start watching people like Nick Shabazz, Metal Complex, Stas. They've got money and they're buying knives, and they're getting an awful lot of them sent to them, which is fair play. They put a lot of work in. It does take a wee bit of work to run this, but they're putting the knives. So many every week that are brand new. I can't keep up with that.
No.
So I've had to learn, right, stop.
Yeah.
You do what you do and let them do that. And I wish them all the success in the world because I know how hard it is to keep that up, to keep fighting for the next best knife,
Yeah.
whether it be budget, medium, large, because they do them all.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So I've really brought mine down to just what I want to collect.
Yeah, because it's the pleasure in the collecting
Yeah.
as opposed to everything else. And what we do, I mean, that's been the beauty of Paddy and Pals podcast is that you get to share it a little bit with
it's
everybody else, and but you share it for fun. Yes, there's a little bit of showing off. Yes, granted, but mostly it's fun, and mostly it's also as well about meeting the other people that we come across, like Ben and Ashley and James, which has been fantastic.
Like there's collecting Ashley's knives. We're getting custom knives over here in the UK that are below what most people are selling their customs for, but he's not doing it, which is a real lovely thing. Ashley's not doing it just to make money. He's doing it to improve his craft, his trade, and I just think that's fantastic. And he's been very good to us. Very, very good to us. And I'm able to collect knives that are in that £100 plus. And it doesn't go much higher than that at the minute. I'm sure it will eventually, but I'm going to enjoy the run.
Except for the odd
Yeah,
one.
yes.
Yeah, the odd one.
But it's sharing any hobby is the buzz of it all.
Oh, this has been fabulous.
I wouldn't have stopped if I hadn't met you because I love the knives and that. But it's so much nicer when you can physically see somebody or pick the phone up or
you've got another nutcase to share your insanity.
He
with.
always says yes when I want to buy something. Sally says no. That's a lie. That's a lie.
We go medium?
Medium, yeah. Go medium.
Go medium. Okay, so again, this is a familiar one. So this is the Benchmade. I can't help but think Dork Forge is on the other end of this going, oh yeah, he put extra effort into getting that blade open. He really did.
You're not allowed to flick your wrist. That's it.
Okay.
That was perfect, Dork Forge. You can't pick that up.
Better.
Got a black jumper on, nobody can see it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Actually, I have to say, with this knife, you couldn't get it wrong. You really couldn't. This is the most beautiful thing. And I mean, I think we were talking about this one. This is the 945 from Benchmade. And, I mean, come on.
It's such a pretty knife. It's got that 940. It's exactly the same shape as the 940, but it has this pop of blue in the liners. Really, really blue liners. I'll get that up closer. There, you can see that. The standoffs and the liners themselves are blue. It's just a lovely little knife. And it's funny, we talked about it last week. We were talking about this. And to me, this is a penknife.
Because it is small.
It's a penknife size. And I just think, there's the pen. Let's see just what the pen is. And it's not a particularly big. Oh, there's not that much difference in it. Yes, it's a bit bigger, but not much. So to me, this is the size of a penknife, which I like to carry about.
I mean, it's a real pocket knife as opposed to. I think you need to compare it to something like the Lawman. A big knife or the Spyderco. So it's
look at that against the Lawman. It just looks so much bigger. And there's the Spyderco. It looks like a little baby knife, but it's not. I mean, you can get 4 fingers on it with a large hand.
And it's just lovely. It really is. And, I mean, what's this? S30V?
S30V. I quite like that about Benchmade. They don't chase the steel.
Yeah.
They're not relying. Yeah, they're not relying on the steel being the seller of the knife. That 940 is the design.
See that close?
Yeah.
See that? I just think that's lovely. It's a lovely detail.
Sometimes when you're doing an axis lock, if you don't get it exactly right the first time, it slows it all down.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, I can't tell you how much. In the hand, it's very, very comfortable, and that blade shape, the 940, 945 blade shape, is just. I mean, we've talked about before about how strong the tip of it is, how robust it is in terms of it as a working blade, and even in something as small as this, you could do anything with this, pretty much. It's just, and yet it's still lovely and light, so pocketable, carryable.
To me, it's one of the best EDCs out there.
I tend to agree with you. I gotta get me.
And I wasn't going to get one because I have the 940. I thought, well, what's the point? Because it's not that much smaller than the knife, but it's small. It's that much smaller that it feels more like a penknife to me.
Yeah.
And that's an attractive thing rather than, I don't want an 8.5-inch, 9-inch knife when I'm going out to play.
No. Yeah, it's just lovely to have it there.
And you're medium sized. These were medium sized and not medium priced, I may add. But this is a knife that I have two of them. I haven't had them out for a long while, but this is the Land. I can't remember what the number is.
820.
The what?
820.
820?
Yeah.
Yep. The Land 820 in stainless steel handles and a blade of 12C27. They used to be, weren't they? Yeah.
Yep. No, that's VG10.
Oh, that's VG10. Oh, I never had a VG10 one.
And that's titanium.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, mine are not titanium. Mine are stainless steel. Oh, that's give that a whole new meaning, right? Oh, happy.
That was the special edition one.
And what did that cost?
I think it was still only 60 or 70 quid.
Flippin' heck. That is beautifully made.
Isn't it?
That is stunning. Sorry, I'm not up to his standard yet. When I got these, they were 12C27, which was a great steel and still is.
But they're fabulous knives, even in the
they're
stainless
super
steel.
knives. I know people say they look like a Sabenza. Get over it. I can't be doing that argument anymore. Lovely clip. Oh, look, it looks like it's a clip. This is really comfortable in hand. Really comfortable. It's more comfortable than the Sabenza I had. I had the Insingo.
Oh, right.
The small Insingo with the finger grooves.
You always said that Sabenzas never really agreed with you.
No, that one was a small knife, but it wasn't. I couldn't get all four fingers on it properly, and it was a lovely knife. The action on it, you could sit and open and close that all night, and I did. It was just it's hydraulic. It was just you could just sit and do that. There was no strain, no pressure. Beautifully put together knife, and the design. Well, it's been going that long now. If it's not good, it wouldn't be selling. And it's still selling out. It's hard to get them. I think it's a 2-year waiting list.
Oh, good grief.
But that was more COVID than anything else. Their thumb studs were horrendous. These are not as bad as the Sabenza ones. But anyway, this is not a Sabenza. It's VG10. But it is a beautiful... This feels... Is this long ago or...
I got it last year, I think.
Right.
It was one... Is anybody else out there aware of the AliExpress wormhole? It's when you go down it sucks you in and you can't get out. It's one of those. I spent a period probably after watching his Nibs videos for a while, and he would point me in that direction. And honestly, I just looked at knives, saw them, and then ordered them, spent the money, and then forgot about them for about 10 weeks.
The only way to do it with AliExpress.
You know? And then 10 weeks later, a package arrived. I realised what it was. Had to hide it from the wife. And I mean, it was just a lovely little surprises every single time. And some of them were a bit dodgy, but almost all of them were. It's funny. There's a YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you know, but Canadian Cutting Edge.
Yeah, I know.
He's with Jake, Big Jake. He's the friendliest looking fella I've ever met. But he always does or did really good reviews on cheaper Chinese knives on the cheaper knives. And it was just a great guide for along with Paddy's potato peelers about which ones I should order. So I just went through them and got some ones that appealed to my own particular taste, and other ones that I thought, well, what the heck? That I think was the last one I bought because I thought, right, I'm coming to the end of it, kind of thing. I've got as many as I need, because I'd started really getting into the Swiss Army knives by that stage, and they were taking up all my time and interest. So it was really just to supplement it every now and again.
It's funny because I've just not long done the review. We were talking about this yesterday. This is called The Partner. This is San Remo. They also make the knives for Boker, who do another knife. I'm not sure what they call theirs. Do you remember what they call it?
No.
It's the same knife. This has got a 12C27 blade, beautiful blade. Tech tool, yeah.
Or City, or
yeah, something like that. And then a big pair of scissors. They're not the best scissors in the whole wide world, but they're all right. But I mean, this costs about £16 or something, but the fit and finish on them is absolutely fantastic. My thing with AliExpress was nighttime. When I go to, honestly, when I go to bed at nighttime, I sit on my phone and I usually go through looking for different knives, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I could sit for 3 hours at night in bed because I'm not a great sleeper and just go through them. I'll wake up in the morning and you'll get wee things coming up on your phone. Your order will be delivered. Your order has left. I go, what order? I haven't ordered anything. And I go, so have you ordered off? No. And I've gone, in my sleep, I'll have ordered these knives from AliExpress. Now, they were never expensive knives.
No.
But
and that's the beauty of it, that you can get.
And the thing, the joy was forgetting about it.
Yeah.
And then it would come and you get a wee surprise.
Yeah, a wee Christmas every 10 weeks or so. Like that.
But and I highly recommend it still, because if you want to, if you want to see a variety of knives, go budget first. And then you'll get to know what designs you like. Well, that's how it was for me.
But it's funny though, because I mean, I know you were saying that you were on last week after our podcast when we'd had a look at re-explored some of your lockers, and you were all looking for the what was the one again that you were looking for?
Oh, I've no idea. It's a week ago. It's good. It's
we were just talking about it.
Yeah, but that's
anyway. but it was
Penya top flipper.
Yes, the Penya top flipper. So the websites have changed, but because I went back to AliExpress at the same time you were looking for the Penya, I went back to AliExpress to have a poke about and see what was there. It's not as good as it used to be.
No.
There's nowhere near as much variety.
Because of companies like Civivi, like
they're mainstreaming them.
Yeah, San Remo, you can buy them in the States. Like Ganzo, you can buy in the States.
Yeah, you can get Ganzo from Moonraker.
Yeah, and here, I mean, but they're twice the price of what they. Yeah.
But at least you don't have to wait like 10 weeks for them.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. I'll wait. I'm that tight. I'll wait. So
no, it was a cracking wee knife.
I have to say that for titanium and VG10, 60 quid, I would buy that all day long. I'd recommend that all day long to anybody.
Yeah, it's a lovely knife.
Really is a lovely knife. Oh, that's that lock bar. That's what I got my finger on the lock. See, my ones are liner locks. And that's a lock bar, so I'm putting my finger automatically over it. But yeah, I mean, whether you go for the titanium and VG10, you can get them in just stainless steel, and I can't get my finger off the lock bar. Even the stainless steel in 12C27 is a fantastic knife.
I mean, the Land 910, I've got two of them.
The Land 910.
I've got the two of the Land 910 with G10 handles, and they are outstanding knives. Absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely.
You could beat them all day, every day. I think you could probably batten with them. Not that you should ever batten with a locker, but it speaks to how robust they actually are.
Very much so. The next one, that's you. This is a fifth pocket. Your wee fifth pocket in your jeans, or a lady's trousers. Sometimes they're only as deep as a fifth pocket, and these are just two. Men or women, these two beautiful knives, I think.
I love a wee fifth pocket knife. I'm a sucker for a fifth pocket knife. I mean, I come from Swiss Army knife land, so I mean, you've got your 54mm and your 74mm, and they just slip into the fifth pocket. That's where they're supposed to go. But these wee ones are just gorgeous.
I have to make a confession. I'm going to do this in front of the community. I have never shared this before. This is a first. Sometimes I don't put my fifth pocket knife in my fifth pocket. Okay?
Shock horror.
Because I always have mine in a slip. If it's a slip joint, I'll just throw that in the pocket with it, and then I can pull two knives out and sit by it.
Oh well, I suppose you get more joy for your money, or for your effort, I suppose, more than anything else. But anyway, Stephen's given me an Uncle Henry, is it?
Uncle Henry.
Uncle Henry. Is that from Shrade?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is an old one. This is what, 1950s?
Yeah, maybe 50s, 60s, maybe 60s, 70s even. I'm not 100% sure.
But it is just gorgeous. It's just oodles and oodles of characters. It's a mini stockman. Mini stockman?
Mini stockman,
Yeah. It's a tiny little stockman. So it's got the 3 blades. Got clip point. It's got sheep's foot. Tiny little sheep's foot that you probably can't see back there. And just a lovely little pen blade. Okay. Do you want to hold that up there for
yeah. I think the longest blade's maybe just over an inch. What's that? It's a cutting edge of about 1.5 inches.
And it's just, but the feel of it in hand, it is, because it's got the brass liners, bolsters, and the bone scales.
Stagalon.
Or Stagalon, is it?
Yeah, Stagalon.
It's
but
just,
it looks realistic.
It does.
From a distance. If you close your eyes and blink fast, you'll not tell the difference.
And it's got that lovely aged yellowing in it. That makes
but I think the yellow is what they come in.
Yeah.
The newer ones are the white ones I was saying earlier on.
That's
that
right.
made this yellow very white, and to me, I don't like it as much.
It's got less character than it should have. Yeah.
But yeah.
And the shield on it is fantastic because it's so worn in.
It's like the squashed tree rat or a bomb shield, whichever you take.
I love them. I don't know half the terms for these things. It's,
well,
it's hilarious.
It looks like it's like a if you like a beaver that's been squashed on the road with it run over. You got the 2 arms, 2 legs, and the tail.
If you say so. Oh yeah, actually no.
Yeah, once you see it, it's gone. Or a squirrel, whatever you want it to be.
You can't unsee it now.
No,
that's the trouble.
Once you see it. So it's either that or the bomb shield.
But this is an absolutely cracking wee knife, and the snap on it is nothing ordinary. It's got really
been used.
Yeah,
this is not just one that's been
it's got a
drawer.
fantastic patina on it, and it's just there's not a gap in it.
Yeah.
So it's beautifully put together. And I mean, I'd be proud to have that in my fifth pocket and pull that out, you know, to peel a tangerine or whatever.
Small knife's better for peeling an apple anyway or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a perfect little knife. But you've got 3 blades, and this is where the advantage of being a slip joint. And liking a slip joint, and liking a wee small thing like that. Like, I can have my penny in one pocket, which will do anything I want. But I've 3 more blades to cut something with. Yeah. And that's, to me, that's a huge advantage in EDC. And I think by not doing that, you're actually doing yourself a disservice half the time.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is the Swiss Army knife. You've got extra other options, extra tools. It's just, exactly. And I didn't click with the Swiss Army knife for a year. Well,
but you were so obsessed with single blades, and you still are to a certain extent.
I like a single blade. Yeah. But I don't mind something small that's got 3 blades or 4 blades. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you
mean. The bigger, fatter, thicker ones, much like the sacks. I love having them in my collection to look at, but they don't get carried. Once they're gone 4 and over thickening layers, that's too big.
But there's a sweet spot, I think, with sacks and multi-tools, and even with multi-bladed knives as well, where, you know, 2's is more than enough, 3 is probably fine.
I think it's all size matters.
When you starting to go more than that, it starts to get a wee bit extra. Yes, in terms of pocket carry.
Pocket carry, size and weight. And I know, like, I'm not going to walk around in circles because I put any knife in my pocket. I'm a fat lump, there's nothing going to stop me. But it's sometimes nice not to feel them too much.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, no, I'm a big. I like an EDC that you don't. It's
necessarily,
it doesn't weigh you down. That's why I like the suspension clips, and I like a pocket clip.
I have the same on my sack.
I'm carrying a slip with my current favourite in, still the Vampire, but we're not allowed to talk about it.
Do you know somebody who doesn't have any expensive knives, you know?
Well, I've got friends, but I'm still getting used to having the slip loose in my pocket because it does still drop down to the well of your pocket. It's a pain in the ass. Really.
I have to say, it did bother me. It took me a long time to get used to it. But then, as you get more expensive knives, you don't want it rattling about with your change, because sometimes I forget and throw change in. And then I've done that where the scales have been all blooming scratched. So now,
especially if you're carrying it.
You don't want something like that getting scratched. Did you hear that?
Put it away. No, we're not talking about that tonight.
I really do want to talk about video coming in the next 2 days on this.
Speaking of little jewels.
Little jewels. Oh yes, this is the budget knives.
Oh no.
Oh no, little jewel. Yes.
Little jewel.
Little jewel.
That was a perfect segue. Ruined by a professional.
Is this 94?
49. 49.
Yeah, 49. This is the GEC number 49 in elderberry jigged bone which is flipping stunning. I got the blue version with a clip point. This is a sheep's foot with the red bone. Now, I wouldn't trade my blue bone, but I have to get one of these because this is just gorgeous. Really lovely. These are just a wee bit smaller than a boy's knife, a GEC boy's knife, if you know what that is. And I mean, they're just the size of, I haven't got anything out here, but it is a small little pocketable knife that will do me in all my EDC tasks during the day. I would need no bigger blade than this. Absolutely. What's the blade length? It's about 2 3/8 cutting edge. That'll do me all day long. And you've got 1095 steel on this. It's thin behind the edge. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Ring bolsters on this is the Northfield version. I just think this one is stunning. I love this blade. I have a number 15 with this blade, the sheepsfoot blade, and it's gorgeous. But I want the bone to go with it. That bone, that excites me.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
I just think that is some of the best GEC can do, and when they do them so well.
They
so
really do.
well.
And I'm just thinking here as you're talking about it, and I have to because the fear of hypocrisy is sort of hitting me now here. I've already said that I think that's not enough knife for the money. Okay, now that is roughly the same size knife. I would pay that again and again and again for that knife.
Yeah.
And I don't know, honestly, I don't know why. I really don't know why.
The blade steel's not as long lasting as that. The bone is, well, I think the bone's nicer than that, but
it is. But it's just
style wise, to me that's a proper slip joint.
It is. And to me that's pocket jewellery.
Oh, very much.
That is just.
I mean, this again is lovely in a modern way.
Yeah.
And you have to. I'm just going to put them up to you again so you can see them. I mean, when you see these two together, they're beautiful knives. Let me get this round this way. Very hard to get this.
That's about right.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful knives. They're about the same size. In fact, they're very close to the same size.
Yeah.
There's not that much difference in them. More blade edge with this probably. But turn it sideways and you have a difference. That's the difference. This can go in a slip and it'll still only be as thick as this in your pocket. It's just stunning. The fit and fitting. When you're taking these about with you, you're carrying something which I think is something special about it.
Yeah, it is.
There's something special about them, and it's personal. And because you sit and stroke them so much,
no,
you have this intimate connection with an inanimate object.
Yes.
But it's there. And when you feel it, you think, oh, that's my GEC.
Yeah.
And it's just, during the day, if I get it out and I'm sitting, I go, oh, it's not just beautiful.
Okay, we're going to move on. Stephen, we're going to move on.
Well, I genuinely get like that when I find the knife.
We're going to get calls from the censor, exactly.
But I think that's a gorgeous
it's a beautiful little knife. Would you mind doing me a favor? Would you compare it to your 94?
My 94, yeah.
I'm sure people would like to see it in comparison.
I should have. There's my little 94. So, this is exactly the. There's the 94. His has gone to. Oh no, mine's got the fancy fluting as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
I cleaned all my GECs today, so they're going to take fingerprints.
Oh, look at them.
Aren't they just the most beautiful pairing? Now, I love my blue bone, but there's something about this red. I've got to have it.
But I feel the same way about the blue one.
Yeah, that makes an absolutely stunning pair of
knives. It really does, doesn't it?
It makes a stunning pair. And I think that's when it's not a rabbit hole. Look, you have to put work in to get GECs. And if you're not prepared to put the work in, you don't really want one then.
Yeah.
And that's my honest opinion. I know people say, oh, they're too dear. They're not when you buy them from GEC. You're getting a handmade, well, virtually handmade, custom.
It's just beautiful.
Finish on a knife. They're the best made production knives in the world, I think, at the moment.
It's hard to beat them, that's for sure.
It's just
thank you very much for that.
Yeah, lovely knives. So yes, I can get very
aroused.
Yeah. Knife aroused with a GEC.
Okay, we'll move swiftly on because
Yes.
that's getting very disturbing very fast. Well, we're coming to the end, Stephen.
Yes, last knife.
And
2 crackers.
And 2 crackers, and they come from the same stable.
They do.
If we can call it that. So,
They do.
and actually, they're very, very similar knives. So, this I didn't flick my wrist there, did I?
Oh yeah.
Did I?
But it's alright. It's a big knife.
I'm gonna have to do it again now. I can feel you watching me, DF. Damn it!
Middle finger flick it.
I can't.
It's
It's
easier.
it's too big for me to do, Spidey.
Oh, I've had that said so many times.
There you are, a sailor. No. So anyway, sorry. Oh God, we're gonna have to edit this. So anyway, this is Stephen's favorite Ganso.
It is by far.
And,
Yeah.
and I mean, well, as he told us last time, it may have been replaced many times, but this is the original model.
Oh no, that's my original.
Oh, is this
Ganso.
the original
Yeah,
one?
it was the small one, the blue one. That was it.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
that's my original.
Oh, I get you now.
That
Right,
is my
this
original.
it.
Yeah.
And this one, I just think it's class.
It's more comfortable than the PM2, which everybody said it was. It's smaller than the PM2, but the handle themselves are more round. They're not.
But it's very similar.
Comfortable, yeah.
It's very similar to the one that you're
Yeah.
going to come on to with mine. I just love the ergonomics on it.
It's a little bit of a smaller handle, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean it's got that
The
axis
axis
lock,
lock.
which is absolutely sweet. And I'm still not going to be reflecting this. So shut up. Leave me alone. I'm only a wee fella. No. Hang on a second. Let's see if we can do the lock flick. Okay. Damn it!
Let's go.
Yeah, and let go of the lock. So yeah, okay, I get it. I'll practice more. So you can't say anything about this. How much did this cost?
When I bought that, it was probably about £13 or something.
£13. This is 440C, and this is for everybody who's asking. It's the G729. Okay, so it's a cracking knife.
That's about 7-year-old. And look, I like anything else. I don't hard use my knives, but I've done cut tests and everything with that. I've taken it camping with me. I've done a lot. It's a lovely knife.
There's
Not
absolutely
nothing.
no wobble on that.
I've
at
never
all.
once tried to
Nothing.
pivot.
And I mean, just as working knives, from a budget perspective, you can't go far. You can't go wrong at all. With
To buy
Ganso.
that now is still only about £17-18.
Yeah, and that's from Moonraker. So delivered, you could get it for just over 20 quid.
Yeah.
So they're just fabulous knives. I really and again, we're not going to get into the cloning, copying.
Well, they're not, because they've got Ganso wrote on it. It's got an axis lock. It's smaller than the other one.
Yeah.
How many knives look like other knives? Finished.
There, I leave it to the master. Okay, but it's a cracking knife. It's a wee bit too big for me.
Uh-huh.
A wee bit too big for me. But then I got tiny little girl hands, as I keep on saying.
And I wonder why Ganso has never brought a para,
Yes,
a one
the
the same
S
size as
version.
the Para 3.
Yeah,
Because I would buy it in a heartbeat.
yeah,
And that would be my user forever.
I agree with you. I would have one, but it was. I just think they're cracking knives. The only drawback with this, and I'm looking at this, is the clip.
Yeah.
Because the clip is, I'd be almost tempted to take the clip off this if you didn't need it so much.
Isn't it funny you said that? I have the rat copy.
Yeah.
And I have the clip off it because it was my work knife, and I didn't like the feel of the clip when I was doing
When
work.
you were working.
So I've still got my. Where is it? I'll just show it to you so you don't. Sometimes people think I waffle. Would you believe that? Me. There's my.
You can tell he's just recently organised.
My rat too.
Yeah.
But I took a clip off it and feel it in your hand. It is just so different.
Yeah.
Without a clip.
It is. It's just so much better.
If I got to go downstairs and go in the garden or cut something up that's going to, be a mucky job, that's the way it comes with me.
But I have to say, I mean, it wasn't even for the feeling hand, because there's really not an awful lot of hotspot or anything in it. It's because it's not a particularly deep carry. So it would just sit above your pocket way too much. I mean, there's a 1/4 of an inch sitting up there that would just get, I don't know, it would just bug me after a while. So, it's a liner note too.
Yeah.
What's a liner note too, of course. But there you go.
Sorry, we just get carried away sometimes and just talk amongst ourselves.
So that's the Ganso 729.
Yeah.
Beautiful knife, fantastic. And honestly, again, I think it's really important to say, because I mean, I myself am only just emerging out of the budget wasteland, if you want. I want into proper knives, and I use that in inverted commas because they're all proper knives. Is I would absolutely have no qualms about owning, using, carrying that knife, and anybody who would simply dismiss a knife like this because it's 20 quid or less.
You don't have to be on a budget to buy that knife.
No. If you want a decent knife,
you want a beater, there's your beater.
Bang, sold.
And that's what Ganzos are. They're just cheap beaters, but they're cheap, good beaters.
The quality's there every single way.
And their 440C is always... The more modern ones are now D2. Sometimes the D2 can be a wee bit Chinese D2. Right. Sometimes when you put it on a wee scale, it comes up at 8 CR30 to 30.
Oh, really?
It's strange, that. But the old 440C was just
great. Go wrong.
Yeah, heat treat was pretty good on it. Maybe not the best in the world, but 17 pounds.
Does the job perfectly. And it's a nice design. It's a good design that works.
And let's just follow that on with the Rat 2 copy, which wasn't about when I was buying Ganzos. And I just seen this tonight for the first time. Never actually seen it before. See, I can't do it either. Although his knives are not as good as mine.
Hasn't seen
my Ganzos much higher class.
You see, good workman always blames his tools.
But this is just the same sort of size roughly. I don't know. I've never measured them. I didn't know this existed. And this is the Ganzo 727. Right, 727.
So it's a 727 small.
727M then? Or do they use S now?
I think they use S now.
Oh, do they? Right, it used to be M for small for some reason. But this is just a stunning knife in G10, an axis lock, and look at that bounce. That is such a good... I expected to have to go hard on that. Oh, that is a fantastic... It just take me a while to get used to it. Beautiful. No, just lock up lovely. Lovely thumb studs, which are just the right size. They're just a little bit over the edge, to get them out. The axis lock is just fine. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. That is just fantastic. Love it. I'm going to order one of these tonight on AliExpress. And I'll let you know when it comes. I hope they get the blue because I really want the blue.
I don't know what color. I've got one in carbon in the carbon fiber, and the problem with it is that it's just too slippy.
Yeah,
that's why I got the G10.
And I'm going to get the blue G10 if they have it. That is just beautiful. Love this knife, and you can't say better than that. When you like something enough to buy it, and because it's your own money, you can buy whatever you want. And always remember that you can buy whatever you want. That is stunning. I just think it's fantastic.
They're also available on Moonraker for 27 quid.
Yeah, but I won't get a surprise then. I like my wee surprise.
Well, tell them to deliver it 10 weeks later. I'm sure they would. Probably knock something off the postage.
Oh dear. Look, Justin, again,
fantastic.
You're talking about knives. Enjoyed the chat. I hope that you like in this format. It's not going to be an all the time format. But me and Justin just like sitting down, and if there's a camera going in the background, as you can see, I forget half the time and look at him. I'm not even looking at the camera, but you can listen to the chat. You can put these podcasts, I think, are great for in the car because they're a bit longer than most people have to sit down and watch a video. Stick them on in your car and just listen to them. You don't need to see us. Trust me, you do not need to see us. But stick it on and join in the conversation in the car. I love arguing and fighting with podcasts in the car. It's great because you always win in the end.
This is very true.
Look, thank you very much indeed. Hopefully our mate will be back with us next Monday. He's been... So what's he called again?
Is it Secondhand or Gypsy or Dan the Sackman? I can't remember.
I don't know. The other fellow that used to be here, the younger, not so good looking.
And just for the record, it was very nice to hear some of the comments that you missed our third party. So it'll be good to have him back next week.
Yes,
all joking aside.
Yes, take care, everybody. God, that's another hour disappeared in my life.
I'm sorry.
You're taking away the best years of my life.
No, those are well behind.
Oh, they are.
Those are well behind you.
We're all right then. We'll maybe see you shortly. Take care.
All the best.
Bye-bye now. Bye. Take care.